Hello, I'm Super Orange Cat here today with Toonami's ratings from April 25th, 2020. Let's start with the top of the block. At the top of the block at midnight, we have My Hero Academia at a 0.29, Demon Slayer at a 0.24, Paranoia Agent at a 0.20, Black Clover at a 0.20, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Golden Wind at a 0.19, and Shippuden finishes off the block at a 0.16. Overall, this was a pretty disappointing week for Toonami. Like again, you have My Hero Academia holding steady to 0.29, and I mentioned last week that considering that in these times it's getting a boost because, like I said, like always, no live sports and more people are inside, therefore there'll be more people available to watch Toonami. Again, and it's just staying under 0.3, and considering that just a few weeks ago it was pulling in like 0.33, 0.34, like higher numbers, this is a bit disappointing to see. And like I mentioned earlier, I have also been doing like this following with this second tracker I've been doing, where taking account the average of the first few weeks of My Hero Academia under these current conditions and the previous few weeks before it hit these conditions, comparing the difference in ratings, I estimate that Toonami is getting an approximate 32% boost because of the current situation we have right now. So again, and no, you can look at these numbers and be like, well, these are not that bad numbers. Note that these are inflated numbers. If it wasn't for the current circumstances, it would be quite a bit lower. Because like I said, and you have Demon Slayer kind of dropping a bit. And I might have jumped the gun last week when I said it paired up very well with My Hero Academia because it had good retention. It doesn't necessarily have that this week. Dropping 500 show to show is never good to see. Especially when the first show is not even pulling in a 0.3. Like I said, but some people speculate next week will be higher ratings for Demon Slayer because it is the season finale on the block. And then you have Paranoia Agent, probably the big story. The one thing I think a lot of people who've been following ratings of Toonami have been looking forward to is how is Paranoia Agent going to do? And a lot of people, myself included, kind of just assume that with all the hype around it, the fact that it's only available if you buy really expensive DVDs currently, that a lot of people are going to be wanting to watch it, and it's a nostalgic show. There's nostalgia coming around to it, and it's just a very intriguing show. A lot of people who are hyped for something of to the tune of Uzumaki with psychological or horror would be really into Paranoia Agent because it gave off a lot of the same vibes. And you would think it would have high ratings, but it really kind of flopped. A 0.20. And I speculated, I don't think I publicly said this, I speculated it would get a 0.23, 0.24 in its first week. I was wrong. It really didn't do that well. And the only good thing I could see overall is that, it makes Black Clover and JoJo's retention look great because they barely dropped after that. If Black Clover only dropped 7,000 total demographic viewers from Paranoia Agent, so Black Clover almost built on the show in front of it, which would be even more impressive considering how much hype this show had going into the block. And then you have Shippuden, another small drop to 0.16. Yet again, honestly, you can't really expect those high ratings from a show that's, again, years old and right in the middle of a filler arc right now. So again, you can't really expect too much from that. And again, and usually when I talk about Toonami's ratings, I kind of use a qualifier of yeah, these are dropped, but let's see next week. Things might be better next week, or oh, let's see how things are. Let's look at more than one data point. But considering the current circumstances we are in with the dubbing virtually stopped for all but a couple shows, the fact that there are going to be no new shows added to the block that we don't already have or have been already produced to this point, which really slims up the pickings. So that's the original reason why we have something like Paranoia Agent on the block to begin with. And again, with 2 weeks from now, Mob Psycho Season 1 entering the block, and Paranoia Agent, a show which you already knows not doing that well in ratings, being pushed up earlier in the block, that's just kind of worrisome for Toonami. Especially a few weeks later, when My Hero Academia's season ends, or hell, maybe in a couple of weeks when we run out of episodes dubbed by Funimation, you're gonna have to do something with that show. So again, if you don't consider My Hero Academia, which is gonna end in a couple weeks anyways, you're gonna have a situation in a week or two where two of the top three shows in the block are gonna be reruns, and the bottom three shows are Black Clover, which Toonami is going to find some way to shaft regardless. I'm feeling really sorry for Black Clover at this point. It's gotten to the point where it doesn't deserve the treatment it's gotten. It's reminding me a lot of Hunter x Hunter towards the end of the run, where Hunter x Hunter, with its best episodes, kept being pushed late in the block. I remember, like, you have like the very famous episode with Kamugi and Meruem air at 3:30 in the morning, and you get stuck in that situation. That's just really sucks when it comes to it. Then you have JoJo, which JoJo always has that big internet presence. It has a big fandom, big, very loud fandom. It just never rates well in Toonami. So it's not something you can necessarily throw to the start of the blog, even with the fact that there's still like 16 episodes left and it's already completed its dub. And then you have Shippuden, which I think Toonami is just content to always have it be the last new show on the block, quote unquote premiere on the block. I keep saying about how these episodes have been available for years on streaming now. But nonetheless, I mean, this is kind of scary times for Toonami. You have the first rerun, the first big gambit, like the big risky gambit of this era, fail. It's failing. It's probably not going to do much better than 0.20. It's probably going to drop from there because some of this is just interest with it being the first episode. And you're naturally going to have some people who didn't like it. Personally, I loved the first episode of Paranoia Agent. But again, I think some people are just going to tune off from it. You have Mob Season 1, which I mean, a lot of people who regularly watch the block have already seen Mob Season 1, so there's no reason for them to watch it again. Especially since I'm pretty sure it's available somewhere in streaming. So again, not really good times for Toonami, and this is not really a good week for the block. But what do you guys think? What are your opinions on Paranoia Agent? What's your opinions on how the block is now? What show do you think Toonami should add to the block next? Hopefully a show that hasn't aired on the block before. What do you guys think? Leave your comments, leave your opinions down below. If you like this content, for more content like this, please comment, and please subscribe. I am Super Orange Cat, and that is all.